Oh,
This is Bangladesh, or where you at?
Me?
No, me.
Oh,
You're,
I can hear Brenda fine.
are you in the Ukraine?
No, actually I just went through Watertown, Minnesota. We're getting ready to fly out later today to Kyrgyzstan on a mission trip.
So you're still in Watertown?
Watertown, Minnesota.
I know.
Where's he flying to?
Kyrgyzstan.
Kyrgyzstan.
Where in the world is that?
It's next to.
It's in the Stan area.
time, gentlemen, ma'am,
It's
time.
It is 9 o'clock, yeah.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see, I should turn my mic on. There. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's 9 a.m., Tuesday, July 17th. Welcome to the Cottington County Weekly Commission Board meeting. We'll begin the meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance, and we could do something completely different. Have an electronic leader, but we won't do that. Steve, you want to lead us in the pledge this morning?
United States of America. To the republic for which it stands. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate that. A couple of housekeeping chores. If you have a cell phone, please silence it or turn it off if you get a call. And you need a ticket, please step out in the rotunda area so you don't disrupt whoever happens to be presenting at that time. The meeting is being streamed live. We did, thanks to Troy, get it fired up, and it's running, I guess. Or is it, Cindy?
Yeah.
It's up and running.
We're in good
And
shape.
so if you approach the board or wish to address the board, you will be, just so you know, you are being streamed live. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address the board on an item that's not on the agenda during our to do this during the open? We want to make certain that we allow time, or so we don't overlook them if they wish to approach the board. I see none, so with that, then I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda as
I'll make
printed.
that motion to approve the agenda.
Second that.
We have a motion by Van Duzen, a second by Hatton. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, we will, because we have two of our commissioners participating in this meeting via the electronic process, we will have to go through a voice or a roll call vote. So Cindy, you want to call the vote?
Gable.
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Van Duzen.
Aye.
Hanton.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman?
Oppose the same sign. Seeing none, motion carries. Item number 2 is minutes of the July 10th meeting.
Move to approve as
We have a
emailed.
motion by Hatton to approve the minutes.
Second.
Second by Gable. Any discussion? Seeing none, we will call a roll call vote again.
Gable.
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Van Duzen.
Aye.
And Hanton.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Go on to item number 5, the monthly reports. First on the docket is facility manager.
Mr. Chair, I
Morano.
think we have item number 4 before that.
Oh, I am sorry. Let's go with number 4. Mr. Krantz, would you please come forward? And number 4 is review of employees' health insurance premium renewal quote and discussion with Mr. Ray Krantz.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thank you for coming in.
Go, Ray.
I appreciate being in service of the county. I really do appreciate that. Last 3 years that you've given me the opportunity to service everything here. So the health insurance for the employees. I've just got this to hand out to everybody.
Thank you.
Those.
And we can put those there.
Yep.
So they can, there you go.
Thank you. So I just wanted to go through the renewal. I know I gave it to Cindy last week, and I think you've probably already seen it. I don't know if you have any questions before I start on anything. This is just a little more detailed than what you have. On the right side of the packet, it is the actual renewal. So the current rates for a single are $588.47, and the proposed rates are 5.2% rate increase to $619.03. The family rates $1469.98, and the proposed rates are $1546.38, and that's supposed to be a 5.2% rate increase too. I didn't check the math, but according to the Sanford Health Plan, that's right. One thing I want to point out, that's for those that took plan number 1. Okay, plan number 2 is right behind it. We do have 4 families on plan number 2, and those rates are currently $1331.25, are going to $1,415. And then there's also 5 more in plan number 3.
Is that a 5.2 as well?
Yes, all of them are 5.2. We have 5 families on the plan 3. That rate currently is $1,254.45. As of January 1st, they will go to $1,319.15. And that's something I wanted to point out a little bit, is it's been very good and it's been very helpful. It's something when we went through with Sanford Health Plans, it's part of the reason we're able to keep the rate down pretty well, is we now have 15 families on the plan. And they've been very low cost to the county. So it's been a very good deal. Now you have 15 families on. When we started, we only had 1. So
On plan 2, there was 10, correct?
no, plan 2, there's 4 families.
4, okay.
And there's 15 on plan 3.
No, there's 6 on plan 1.
Okay. Total.
Yep,
for all the
15
plans.
total.
Okay.
Yep, 5 on plan 3. Sorry about that
Oh, that's okay.
confusion. 5 families on plan 3. So every year during the renewal period, which anywhere from November 15th to December 15th, the employees are allowed to pick whatever plan they want for the upcoming year. So that doesn't mean anything about what's going to be next year. They'll be allowed to switch to whatever they want to. A 5.2% rate increase is very good in our industry. So I was very happy with it. And I'm going to show you some more back here. The next page that goes into the options that you can pick if you wanted to switch. Obviously, it's not a bad rate increase. I'm not sure if I would mess with anything because we already offer the $1,000, $2,000, and $3,000 deductible plans. That's what the 1, 2, and 3 are. If you want to go to the next page, it has a client loss ratio. That one is a very short year, so we really don't want to look at that one as much as the year after that. So if you take a look at the year afterwards, it's rather interesting. Your total premiums billed, if you look at the bottom of that first column, underneath the totals on the bottom, you had $736,000 worth of premiums for the year. Medical claims billed, if you see about 3 or 4 more columns over, is $1.314 million billed just in medical. And then if you look over farther, in prescription claims, we had $117,000 billed. A big thing that happens, though, is the discount. If you see the medical percentage of savings is a 53% discount by using the Sanford Health Plan. So that's where you're really getting a huge network savings. That brings the total medical claims paid down to $528,000. And then if you add that to prescription claims paid of $117,000, we've totally paid out $645,000, and we've taken in $736,000. So it's been a good year for Sanford as well. But I think overall, it's it's always a risk for the $90,000 that they're taking on. Yeah, it's a pretty big risk when you consider all the rest of the costs and everything else associated with doing business. So The last page goes into some details of members. It doesn't say who the members are. It just says the high cost expectations in the future. I won't go through those at all. I don't want to, but it just kind of gives you an idea of some of the higher cost members in the plan. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Nope.
Good.
Okay.
Just, it's, the increase amounts to just under $40,000 per year, which is about 1/4% of our entire budget.
Okay.
Say that again, will you, Cindy?
The entire premium increase based on the selections that we now have is going to be just under $40,000 cost per year. And it's just 1/4% of the entire county budget.
So the next page on the left side is almost the same thing I gave you before. It just updated a little bit more again. The Cottington County Health Insurance rate history. I went through it again. We took over the plan, our health insurance agency did, in 2016. And the rate in 2015 was $6.96, and the family rate was $17.26 at that time. So right now, we're still about 12.5% lower for next year than it was 4 years ago. The premiums are 2.3% above 2013 premiums. And another thing I just did, I just looked at the rate history for South Dakota and looked at small group rate increase history. And if we'd had the same rate increase history since 2015, our current rates would be $987.97 for a single and almost $24.50 for a family. And if you think it's kind of crazy, I did a page on the next group of pages here. It's just individual rates if you bought it today. Unfortunately, with individual plans, you can't get as low a deductible as you have now. This is a $1,250 deductible with a $4,750 out-of-pocket maximum. Right now, you have a $1,000 deductible with a $2,000 out-of-pocket maximum, so you're talking a much richer plan than this. But I just did something. Unfortunately, I thought it printed off that it was 2018 and the people on it, but it didn't, so I wrote it on the top. This is 2018 rates, not 2019. That's for a 37-year-old male. A 37-year-old male would cost the same as what your plan is right now. And it doesn't matter whether it's 37-year-old male or female. The next page, it just shows the same thing, but with the 37-year-old family rate. The family rate would be $2,400 for that plan. $2,399 to be exact. So having a family rate of $1,546 compared to $2,399 for a much poorer plan, it's been a good thing.
Good.
So I do recommend that you take what's being offered. I think it's a very good deal for you. I've said it in the past, when a couple of years ago when Sanford Clinic went out of the network, I did recommend you look around. And I try to be as honest with you as I possibly can, but I do believe this is something that I would hang on to. Does anyone have any questions?
Anyone have any questions?
5.2% is, that's a pretty good rate.
That's very
For
good.
renewal.
It's very good. On the group side, we're seeing about 10% average, right
Wow.
in that 9% on average. But on the individual side, we're seeing anywhere from 15 to 40% rate increases. It used to be that individual rates were cheaper than group rates, and now what's happened is that you don't have to get a job in order to be on a plan anymore. So the insurance companies have to take you, and it seems like the individual rates have gone up significantly. So
Yeah, because they're paying out more
yes.
claims. Yeah.
Yeah, the single rates for an individual used to be 2/3 what a family or a single rate for a group is, and now it's really gone the other way around. But your rate is still very good. It's I was looking at another group I have that actually has a $1,000 deductible like yours, and the rates are significantly higher than yours. So
And this is what we kind of were shooting for when we tweaked our family plans in the hopes of getting more healthy families on and to balance things out, correct?
Yes, that's exactly.
Okay.
So,
So let it be known then that if you are not in the program as a family, now is a good opportunity to make that switch because of the opportunities and the rates are favorable.
And today it's just for discussion. If the board,
Yep.
whenever the board wants to take action, we'll schedule that.
if anybody has any questions they'd like to ask me personally, or, you know, I've got my card in there, there's a pen in there with my phone number and everything on it, I'd be glad to answer any questions. We do come every month and make sure the employees are doing well, and we haven't had many complaints. I mean, no, it's been very good, so,
Okay, thank you, Ray.
thank you very much.
How's the new
Ray.
building working out for you?
Very good.
Or your old building's working out pretty well for us too.
It really worked out well for both of us,
Yeah,
so,
I did.
thank you very much.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you. All right, let's go on then. I had already introduced Milo, facility manager. He's up next on his monthly report. And he has his notebook full of notes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
See, I'll put the order in for pizza now. We could be here a while. Actually, my report will be kind of short and sweet this morning. I'll start with Memorial Park. No big secret, very busy time of year. Some of the things I wanted to bring your attention to, we are experimenting with some Wi-Fi coverage at the park. Currently, we are providing coverage for approximately 20 of the campsites and advising our other guests, you know, if they come in the vicinity of the office, you know, that the Wi-Fi is available to them for, you know, checking their emails and whatnot. So that's been so far it's a pretty good test run. Too early to really give you any solid results, but it's there. I wanted to also pass along the number one request that we get is for more full-time sites. Currently, we have a list of 8 people who would like a full-time spot. A number of years ago, you know, and I'm going to take a crack at this, maybe 15, 16 years ago, we were limited to a 10% figure of our available camping spots, just to accommodate, you know, the weekenders that want to come out and enjoy the park also, and, you know, maybe enjoy those particular sites where the full-timers were. There is no real good solution to this short of adding additional sites, but I just wanted to call this to your attention. That is the number one request that we get, and that's week in and week out. We have somebody asking about it. We have added 5 primitive tenting sites to accommodate, you know, a significant number of requests that we've gotten for tenting sites, which seems to be up from the past. You know, and, you know, I think maybe people are discovering tenting isn't so bad anymore. So we're working on trying to accommodate those folks.
I don't know about that.
You know, we're not quite ready to go glamping yet, but courthouse, the remodel continues. We have the ceiling contractor on site. Actually, he come in yesterday, so they're starting to hang ceiling grid in the new clerk of courts area. You know, the painting has been completed in that area, so it continues. We're actually working out in front today in preparation for the new water line being brought in. So we eventually will be redoing all of the landscaping out in front. But today we have the highway shop is helping us out. And they're up here with the skid steer removing all the rock and debris left over from the former landscaping. We have lost an employee for up to 2 months due to an injury, leaving us short-staffed in this location. We're dealing with it as best we can. Some things aren't getting done. Some requests are taking a little longer than what people are used to, but everyone's been very good in understanding our situation for the most part. Detention center, really have nothing specific to tell you about over there, just the normal bumps and bruises that happen every day. Ag building, the staff is currently preparing for achievement days. They've been working out in the barn, getting that prepared and ready to go. So that's a real busy week coming up soon.
Do you have the dates for achievement days?
I do not have the dates. I believe that's
August 6th through 9th.
August 6th.
6th to the 9th.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Our roofing project out there has been completed. I have reached out to our adjuster for a final settlement on that project.
Good.
We had a initial payment that was actually delivered last year, that will cover the bulk of that.
And we have supplemented the ag building budget with that payment.
Okay.
Okay. So anything extra you get can also be supplemented.
Okay.
And it looks good and it works good. It sure kept the heat in last night.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it was about 90 degrees in there last night.
It was nice and toasty for you. Okay, so that's my report for this month. Any questions while you have me front and center?
Mr. Chair, I have just a couple questions.
Sure.
The jail air conditioning system, what's the status with that?
Okay, the status on the jail air conditioning system, we have had some major repairs done to that in the last month. Right now, it is currently as good as it can get in their estimation.
It's working.
It's working. We're still running up on, when we hit that 90-degree days, we still have some offices that are running up to 76 degrees plus, and there's, we can't make it any better than that. So we're
what's
looking into probably the next step is a total replacement of some equipment.
Okay.
Which is actually original equipment dating back to, when that was built in 1976. So that remains a project in the works. I suspect, we've thrown some significant dollars at it already in repair, and I suspect we'll be coming back with some big numbers, looking at replacement down the road.
And then the only other question that I have is you mentioned the camping spots out at Memorial Park. There was talk, I think you and I had talked a while back about maybe doing something with that area. I think there used to be softball fields up there in the far northwest corner of the park.
Yeah, that far west corner of the park, actually, that's where we're incorporated the new tenting sites.
Okay.
Back in that area. And we just call that a primitive area, no electricity, no immediate bathhouse in that general area. I mean, they have to hike a little bit to get to a bathhouse, but that's where we're at for now.
Okay.
Could we expand there in the future? Possibly.
Okay.
Milo, you need some temporary help with this one individual that's laid up. You need us to authorize you to, hire some temporary help, or?
It would be an advantage, if we had somebody available to come in for the next, we're probably still looking at 6 weeks before we get our individual back, but, that's,
Well,
I haven't made that a formal request as of yet, but
well, we certainly understand the situation, because this is the time of the year when custodial work is at its peak. You need to get a lot of stuff done in the summertime. Make hay while the sun shines, and if you need some additional help, bring it to us, will you?
okay, thank you.
I think we can go. Is there any more questions for Milo? Anyone have any more questions?
Just one, over on the east side, where whatever type of building was moved in and the trailers that were over there. Did you talk to those people?
Oh, okay.
You're talking Memorial Park?
Yeah, actually, I've sent letters out to all of our neighbors out there. Just kind of combination, introduction of ourselves and that kind of thing, so it has been addressed.
I was down there, I took a drive after our last meeting when we had that discussion and looked around down there, and it looks like the property owners are taking care of do they take care of the grass down there? Are they cutting the grass? I noticed that there's some gardens and stuff down there too. Do they take care of that area?
We have one person in particular that, does take care of the mowing around their garden. We still do the majority of that ourselves.
Okay.
Which is where, where the initial complaint come from. You guys have to get off and move things or trim around things.
When is the Ventiques? They usually, for those of you that, the Ventiques come into town and they usually take over the park almost.
Correct.
What weekend is that?
That is the second weekend in September. That's always the week following Labor Day. And that's a really huge event for us at the park. Like, they literally do take over the entire park.
Yeah. And they very much appreciate it too. I mean, we, in the past, we've got to cater to them but they bring in a lot of people into town. That's for sure. All right, no more questions then. Milo, let's go on then. Are you the person that's going to speak to us in reference to the tables?
Oh, okay. Yes.
Item number 6 on the agenda is action to approve ordering of tables for the new courtroom. So they're not going to be happy with armchairs.
I don't think that
All right.
they are going to settle for TV trays or armchairs. That is the tables or the desks, that were requested by the court services personnel, and we can piggyback onto their state contract to purchase those things.
Is that what I'm looking at with this?
That would be
Mr. Chairman,
correct.
I'd make that motion.
All right, we have a motion by Gable. What is your motion, Mr. Gable?
Yeah, to approve the ordering of the tables as Mr. Ford specified.
And that number is $3,520.
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion by Gable. Is there a second?
I'll second.
A second by Van Duzen. Any discussion?
How many?
Is that per table, or no, 2 tables?
That's
Okay.
for 2 tables.
All right.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I can offer a little bit on this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so for one thing, we every year we budget. I think this year the amount is about $10,000 for this kind of thing, where we have to pay for things for the unified judicial system, which is a typical county responsibility. This happens to go along with the remodel, so we have some of the furniture is included in the remodel price. Some of the loose items, such as this one, are not. And so this is where we'd want to use that $10,000 to do that. There will be a few other odds and ends, some of which we have within the we have usable items within our inventory, and Milo's been working on that. So things like the jury suites that will be coming down coming up as we go through the remodel project. But so that, just for everybody's information, that's kind of how this is working.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, we will call a roll call vote.
Gable,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Van Duzen,
Aye.
Hanton.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Not hearing any, motion carries. Let's go on then to item number 9, if that's possible, Milo, and this is discussion, possible action to approve an agreement establishing the Cottington County Memorial Park Tree Fund within the Watertown Area Community Foundation. And in your packet is the sample that was created for this particular situation. And Milo, you want to go ahead and...
Okay.
You have one
I
for
worked
me?
with Jandy Burke with the Community Foundation on this. So we have a home for any funds, that may come of this solicitation for tree planting at Memorial Park. This is similar to what was done a number of years ago when they did a fundraiser for playground equipment. I think it will give folks a peace of mind, you know, in a better paper trail where this money is going, and you know, I don't know how to gracefully say this, but you know, keep our hands out of the pot. How about that?
Sure. Yep.
So it would be my recommendation that we work with the Community Foundation. They have all the systems set in place, you know, to do this, so it can be a, you know, tax exempt donations or anything along those lines.
It sure makes it a lot easier for those who wish to participate and make donations. And it's not an endowment, and an endowment would mean that we would only spend the interest. In this particular case, we are allowed to spend it down at any particular time. I suppose when trees
Correct.
are a good buy, that's when we want to do it.
You know, and typically, you know, we're gonna purchase the majority of these trees probably in the springtime. You know, when we can buy them fair root versus potted.
Sure. All right, is there any more questions or any more discussion on
Once
this
again, these
item?
are memorial trees that people basically purchase in memory of a loved one that's passed away.
Correct.
Okay.
You know, and as we continue forward with this, you know, if somebody, you know, wants to go out and purchase a tree from one of the local nurseries, we're narrowing it down to about 5 different species of trees. You know, so someone can go out and visit, you know, the tree farm or Sioux Valley greenhouse or whoever their favorite nursery is. You know, pick out a tree that is one of the 5 that we have recommended. You know, so they can actually purchase the tree and come out and plant it themselves. You know, or if they don't care to go to that extent, they can just donate money to go into the fund, and we will purchase trees.
Okay.
We will. Commissioner Johnson had suggested, and we will come up with a plaque, you know, that we can keep in the park office, you know, recognizing the donations for memorial trees.
I'll entertain a motion. We should have done that before we had the discussion, but
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
we have a motion by Commissioner Gable. Is there a second?
Second that.
Second by Commissioner Hatton. Any more discussion? I think we've
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
So on looking at the front page of the contract, so would the county's name go in that, the fund contact blank, or just want to make sure that as a public entity, it's okay to be in that blank, but definitely support the concept.
Cindy's looking at it right now. She's about
To me, it looks like Cottington County's name would go in there.
that's what I thought as well. Okay, any more discussion?
Probably will result in a note to our financial statements, just giving legislative an audit, a heads up that this is what we're doing.
Okay.
Any more discussion? Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Roll call vote, please.
Gable.
Aye.
Waterman.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Van Duzen.
Aye.
Hanton.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Seeing none or hearing none, motion carries. Milo, are you on for anything else here?
Possibly number 7
fire
or
alarm?
7 and 8 to deal with the fire alarm system.
Do you mind, Steve, if we just go ahead and, all right, let's go ahead with item number 7 then. And this is an action to rescind approval of the fire alarm system and installation. And just for everyone's reference, we found out that by combining the two together as we did, the price got over $50,000.
It is considered one project.
Yeah.
Even though it was 2 separate agenda items? Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is considered one project. The system and the installation
Okay.
is, the state will look at it as one project.
Got it.
And I did
Yeah,
give you some, a memo from the Department of Legislative Audit regarding the whole thing.
Okay. Yeah, there is in your packet, there is a a reference sheet for you to look at. So that being said, I would entertain a motion to rescind that.
I'll make a motion.
We have
Make
a
that
motion by Commissioner Gable, a second
I'll second that.
by Commissioner Hatton. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, call for the roll call vote.
Gable,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Van Duzen,
Aye.
Hanton.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing or seeing none, motion carries. Let's go on then to number 8, which dovetails right into that. Action to authorize a notice to bidders for fire alarm system and installation.
There should be a draft on your desks of the notice to bidders.
There is.
Yep.
Yep.
And Mr. Chairman, if I can help Milo explain it. if
All
that'd be
right.
helpful.
Go ahead, Gable. Go ahead, Lee.
Okay, just this notice to bidders is something that's very similar to the sprinkler system, where we have a project that suits well 2 different contractors, and that's why we tried to do the 2 purchases that we just rescinded in number 7. So essentially, this would allow for bidders to combine or separate, and then we'll put together a bid tab in a similar way as we did for the sprinklers, so that we can easily discern who the lowest bidder is. So the timeline for that is for the bids to be due be toward the end of August. One of the good things about this is we're not in a big rush. The issue with the fire inspector was that we basically committed to do these upgrades kind of along with the remodel, and so this could be a winter project for some contractor.
Okay. I will entertain a motion then at this time.
I'll make that motion.
We have motion by Commissioner Gable. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Hatton. Now, any more discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, just a couple added points. Milo is helping work up some of the details of the specification. So if that draft there is pretty close, some of the dates may slide a little bit if we can't get some of the specs together very quickly, but not by much. And there's not a huge rush.
Okay. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote.
Gable,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Van Duzen,
Aye.
Hanton.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Seeing or hearing none, motion carries. All right. Thank you, Milo.
All righty,
Appreciate
thank
the
you.
time.
Milo's got budgets to
Thanks.
review.
Oh, yeah, we might as well do budgets with Milo as well. Steve, hang in there.
I told you, I might want to order pizza.
Which one you want to start with?
I'm at your disposal.
We'll start with the beginning of the book, which would be government buildings.
All right. I say government building, this is it. We're sitting in it, right?
Correct, that would be for the courthouse.
Tab for that one, is it under something else?
Yeah, there is. I
Oh,
have
yeah,
one.
there is. Okay, government.
Yeah,
It's the big bright yellow one.
Page 17?
page 17.
Okay, along with my budget request, there should be attachments, my worksheets and how I come up with those numbers. Approximate 2.5% increase on my part of this budget over next year. Now, what is not included in my part of the discussion is the capital improvement portion of it, which has been kind of driven by the remodel. So I don't have those figures.
Mr. Chairman, I can chime in on that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just a couple of things with the thing we just approved with the notice to bidders for the fire alarms. That may work out that's a budget item for next year as well. Some of the and this would be perhaps a different piece of money, but I've asked the contractors to tell us what part of their remodel bill they're going to provide in the next calendar year, so we can budget for that. So we'll see how that turns out, and yeah, I think that's basically it from my perspective.
Okay? Everybody understand what Lee just said? All right? Okay,
Okay.
go ahead, Milo.
All right, well, with all of that you have heard, I won't go through line by line. My salary, total personnel services is down a little bit, 250,000 and change versus my budget for the current year is 269,000. The reason for that decrease is the change in employees. We had a couple retirements of longtime employees. So going through, the next item, other current expenditures, my total is 149,000. That includes, insurance and bonds, repair and maintenance, supplies, etc. And I have that pretty well spelled out in the pages in back. Going into 427, travel and conference, which is a separate, I guess that's part of the other current expenditures, I guess. So that's
That's under personnel services.
yes.
Yeah.
So that's travel and conference request for this year is 2,750, which would be the primary expenditure there is attending the facility dude conference, which I did not go to this year. Capital outlay is, I requested 15,000 there to construct a double garage somewhere on the grounds to replace the shed that we currently have. And the total debt service is just the amount
For the design build
for the
contract
design
that we
build
have.
contract with Johnson Controls that we did 10 years ago. So,
I believe we have 3 payments left on that.
okay. So that gives me a total of 506,347. Like I pointed out before, it does not include anything, for capital outlay, to do with the remodel expense.
And that is a 2.5% increase.
Correct.
All right?
Cindy, just looking at those Johnson Controls, that contract, 19,949, is that right? You said we have about 3 more
3
payments.
more payments. We have 2 in 2019, and then a partial in 2020.
Okay.
All right?
West Nile is another budget that Milo.
Can I ask one quick question before leaving government buildings, Mr.
Go
Chairman?
ahead. Go ahead, Lee.
Just if the jail air conditioning becomes an issue that we have to deal with in the next calendar year, would that come out of the jail budget or out of the government buildings?
Correct. That would come out of the jail budget.
Okay.
All right, let's go on to West Nile then, and what page is that on, or do we have a tab for that?
We do have a tab right there.
What color? All right.
Well, they're all
Green.
different, yeah. And the page number is off because we had to rerun this one, so.
All right.
West Nile comes right after the nurse's budget.
Have you got it?
Okay, everybody find that one?
Yep.
There's a green tab in my book. It's quite thick. All right, go ahead.
So for the West Nile budget is exactly the same as it was last year, for a total of 8,532. So no significant changes, no changes there at all.
Basically some hourly, or some hours for man hours and then chemicals.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Let's see, Milo's next budget would be the park.
County Park.
Park, Memorial Park, or I'm not sure how we would have tabbed it.
County
Go
Park.
for County Park, okay.
Page 53.
Yes.
Okay, under County Park, Now, this is an approximate 16% increase from last year, and this is primarily driven by personnel services. I am requesting an additional half-time seasonal employee for the park. The amount of work out there that needs to be done, in addition to the normal lawn mowing and whatnot is just staggering. And we're kind of fighting a losing battle at the moment. It seems like 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. So I have a request in there for an additional part-time employee. Other than that, the total for other current expenditures is $114,800. This includes repair and maintenance and supplies and utilities. The third one is capital outlay. I have a request for $20,000 under capital outlay. That would be for, that is also broke down in the back pages under my worksheets. This would be for replacement of a lawnmower and replacement of a 1992 Lumina van. And I just requested $12,000 for another vehicle with nothing particular in mind, but something that maybe we'll spend a little less money keeping on the road.
Okay,
And then ag building would be Milo's final budget.
all right, that's the next budget, here. Folder. Everybody got it? Everybody there?
Yep.
Okay, the ag building budget represents an approximate 11% decrease from 2018. Total personnel services, $116,701. Total other current expenditures of $91,110. There again, this is spelled out in my worksheets. But this does include repair and maintenance, supplies, utilities. Just a point of interest, our major expense on this category out there is utilities, and that number this year is $38,360.
How are we doing with the Regional Extension Center? We always monitor those utilities. Are
Yep.
we still in the ballpark?
We're still in the ballpark there. We're humming along just fine as far as I'm concerned. Under capital outlay, I have $56,125. This is for continue work, redoing floors in the restrooms out there, removing tile and that type of thing. Also planning on adding furnaces or replacing furnaces and possible air conditioning units to the North Expo building. This would be replacing units that are 25 plus years old.
Now, the Echo Center, that is air conditioned.
Yes, it is.
And it was working last night, it was working good, but it just doesn't, not enough to, the North Expo, that would be the next building.
That would be the next building.
Yeah. What's the third building called then?
South Expo.
Oh,
How about that?
all right.
Very, very creative naming.
Yeah, that's good.
So
That's
Yeah.
kind of like, why did they put the airport out here west of town? Because that's where the airplanes land, right?
Yeah.
All right,
So,
11% decrease then. Any questions for Milo on his budgets? Any questions at all from anyone?
That's pretty clear, thank you.
All right,
Decrease. Thanks, Milo.
Okay.
Thank you, Milo.
Thank you.
Back to work. Okay, now it's Steve's turn. Thank you, Steve, for hanging in there and waiting for us. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Let's see if we can get this thing going. My notes is on here too, so Got that.
Brenda, you still with us, sir? Brenda?
Yes, I am. I just have it on mute.
Okay.
I am with you guys.
Just making sure we didn't lose you.
I just don't want all this background stuff. So, yep, I'm here.
All right.
We have a little dead time here. Steve is punching things on his laptop or on his iPad. You're trying to get something on the screen.
There. Well, it's my little bit of a report since I had it on the tablet, but I got other things I want to show. The one thing in Sylvette so far this spring, I'll give a spray report. We have 306 hours of log spray time. 2,157 miles sprayed. 212 gallons of 2,4-D. And to make note that this spring I did a test run for just spot spraying. On the comparison level, last year in the spring we had used 847 gallons of 2,4-D. Granted, yeah, there is going to be some weeds, some thistles and stuff like that in some of the right-of-ways because you can never get them all, catch them all. The bad ones we'll run out and go do and stuff like that. When there's bad spots, we've been out a couple times doing a couple things that are kind of bad. Going on, toward on, 114 gallons used this year. That's about the same as last year. Then 8 1/4 gallons of Grazon Next, which has been used on a couple private parcels. And then 5 gallons of glyphosate because we had gone out and sprayed the riprap for the county and so that already. So to make note, I do have the new pickup now. Thank you. It took a little while so that from the time ordered, but I do finally got it. The old pickup currently this morning went to the highway shop, going to get the transfer papers done and signed. As soon as Rick is back, he had taken his grandkids to the airport to fly out. So that will be done, and I believe their pickup is going to the Soil Conservation Dix Creek, I believe. And then also, new truck, operating pretty good. I will show you a picture here of the new truck in a minute, so that I'll kind of go through a couple other things here. Also, a month ago, I was out and collected larvae for the poison hemlock. We also had a weed tour and did leafy spurge collection this past month, and I'll have a couple pictures of that here in a minute. Weed board meeting set for July 25th. I believe I'll have it at 6:30, and I think I'm going to make some brats and hamburgers and so that for the board when we do meet. Main one is Brenda Sievers is going to be here, and she's going to talk a little bit about the apiaries, basically beekeepers and so that, and that is probably why I really did the test run of the spot treating, because the beekeepers are trying to get a foothold, and they probably can get a foothold of just to spot spray only, and in order for grant money to get done, you have to be on a spot spray program. So she's going to come and discuss a little bit of that. And then also in September, State Weed Commission meeting and tour will be in the pier and surrounding area. Also, now I'll get into.
Well, he's in the process of doing that. Just an observation. Highway Department is chip sealing County Road 6 from County Road 11, which is Old 81 west. And we're working on that yesterday. They got it quite a ways west, and then also from that same corner of County Road 11 and County Road 6, the project of resurfacing County Road 6 from that intersection east to just a mile or so east of the interstate is being done. In fact, they'll probably put the mat on today. It's already ground down, and so that process will, if you're driving that direction and you don't want to get oil on your car, avoid that County Road 6. Or windshield busted out or something, because there's a lot of traffic on that road right now, a lot of construction work. Just want to buy some time here.
All right, this is the truck. It is longer. We extended the bed by 3 feet. And so we actually balanced the tank over the rear axles compared to the other truck a little better. My operator was a little apprehensive about this spring using the truck, especially because it's an automatic, but after he's in it, I don't think he'd go back to the other truck.
He loves it. Yeah.
And he likes the air conditioning.
Yes.
Who you have running that truck?
John Ingalls.
Yeah.
All right, this is a picture of this is just north of Sturgis High School. This is where we had collected some of the larvae. They were kind of looking at some of the larvae and how small they are, and so we had, after doing the collection. And this is a sample of the poison hemlock that the larvae is actually infested on it and ate it. I mean, out there, they have literally just demolished it. I don't know why. We are not seeing the results here like they are there. I mean, they just totally devastating the plants. It looks like it's sprayed, but it's actually the larvae that's actually, and there's a picture of, I believe I can see 1, 2, 3 for sure larvae on it right there. They're on the plant. And they were just hanging and drenching all over the plants. And so here they are. You can see the penny about the size of what the larvae are. And so they'll grow a little bit larger before they'll mutate into pupae, and then they turn into a moth from that. And in fact, got a phone call yesterday. The Hamlin County got a bunch of them, and Dual County is getting a bunch. I will be helping on getting them spread on Thursday. And so my site here in Connington County, actually, this here is a picture that we were out at, and we were kind of looking at the plants. They are working, because where he was standing, that was solid hemlock, and now it's grass. So, but we're not seeing the devastation, but we did find larvae that are in there. This is what we were doing. We were actually searching for the larvae, and they are rolled up in the leaves. They are there, but we're just not seeing devastation like they are out west. It's unbelievable, but they are working at it. So this is a little bit closer. That's a little more in the trees where it is. I was out there on Friday, and actually it's half as thick as that is. So they are doing something. And then this is one where they had released, or where it was being released.
Mr. Chairman?
Sir, go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, just a question on the larvae. Is there a time limit or a season where they're alive before they turn into whatever they turn into?
Generally, it's probably when we found them. This was the first part of June. They go by heat and stuff like that, and the larvae don't mutate for about a month, and then they'll mutate, and then they go into the moth. The moth actually lives throughout the season. Will hibernate over the winter and then lay its eggs and then continue at that point again.
Actually survive through the winter.
They survive through the winter. They actually go in duff. I mean, you have flies survive the winter, so they lay in the duff and so that and survive the winter there too. So this is go ahead.
No, thanks for the answer. That was good.
You bet. There's a picture in Soviet of the field day. This is up in the summit area. There was actually 72 people that enrolled for this event. I believe 66, 67 actually showed up. It was very good. As you can see, there's a red flag and there's a white flag that's a little bit further behind the one gentleman in Soviet, and it indicated different native, non-native, and then actually noxious weeds and so that. Here's a little bit more on the side hill. That gentleman there in the picture, he is the president of the State Weed Commission Board. And there's a picture of one. This is a native weed and so that. I should say native forb. That's how they actually. This is the leafy spurge collection. They were out sweeping. This was currently done over in the East Lake area, just across the lake of the park. And that is the collection units. They dump the beetles in there, and then they separate out through the screens, and then drop down, and into the bottom they go into the cups. So and from there they're distributed. And that is Brenda Sievers of the Department of Ag. She's the one that will be here next Wednesday for the meeting. Oops, wasn't supposed to do that. And then finally. And then Ron Mooring is sitting in the seat and so that. He is with the Department of Ag. He's originally from the Watertown area, and so that his dad still lives here in town. So.
Okay. What time is that meeting next week on?
6:30, and it will be at the weed shed.
Okay.
Which is where?
The weed shed is in the back lot of the highway shop, behind the gravel piles.
It's where we turned in our spent chemical containers last week, which I forgot. But I only have 3 of them, so.
Okay.
But I usually turn them in anyway.
All right.
But how was that? Successful?
It was very successful. I think it was down a little bit, though we did have an elevator bring in a bunch of jugs and so that from LeBolt. So.
Did they shred them right away
Yep,
there?
shredded them right away and stuff. So. We'll talk a little on the West Nile. Currently, right now, yesterday we went out and set all the traps and stuff. I do know that Watertown has been getting a pretty high number of the Culex, which is the ones that carries the West Nile. As far as in the state, there's four I believe, counties that have positive pools, but there's probably the only reason for it is because Department of Health is not testing them from others. Their budget money is short. All these other counties have their own testing to be able to test for it. So, but I know that the forecast is very high numbers. They look for some high cases of West Nile this year. At this time, I know of none. Nothing's been reported as of late.
Steve, are any of those counties adjacent to Coddington?
Brookings County is. I will be talking with Mike Hildreth down there. He is in charge of the mosquito control. We're going to do a little bit of an ID class. I just opened up and seen that we had an email and so that from him this morning, and so we had setting something up. So
Brown County is always high.
Brown County is always high, and they have their own testing. Minnehaha has their own testing because they're a huge area and they have a lot of staff to be able to do their own testing. So
what are the 4 counties that you're talking about?
Stanley County, which of course is where Department of Health, Brown County, Brookings County, and Minnehaha County.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I have been doing some fogging and stuff like that in some of the communities and stuff like that. Some of them requested quite a bit already. So I do know that from the fogging and stuff like that, I can really see a significant number of mosquitoes in Wallace. It's probably the highest population of what I see for density. So.
And that's kind of been a tradition there. I mean.
Yeah, and and part of it is they do have a couple sloughs that basically surround the town, and that is prime for the mosquitoes. I mean, it's not a lot of water movement. They're still, and they have the tall grass there. So yeah, it's a high breeding ground for them. So.
Okay, doke. Any other questions for Steve?
I just have, what was the date of that meeting? I didn't catch that. That's 6:30. What's the date?
July 25th.
Thank you.
All right. Seeing or hearing no other questions, thank you, Steve.
Steve's got his budget to review also.
Yep, let's do your budget.
Steve is towards the back of the book. Page 60.
Everybody there?
Yep.
Weed
Yeah,
control?
sir.
Yep.
All right, shoot.
All right, over in the personal services and the salary and stuff like that, actually have a reduction and stuff like that, more or less because in the past few years, we have actually kind of, hours have been down a little bit, more for part-time help. One of the part-time help is not putting in as many hours of what I had the previous guy, and it seems to be working out, but I'm gonna keep it where it's at in case I do need to pick up somebody else to fill in, you know, like a day or two, also in that. So I am down, roughly about 1,500 on that one. Down below on expenditures, I am also down on that by 23,000, something like that, I believe. Yeah, close to 3,000, and part of it is to do with chemical, and because of the reduction of testing a little bit with the spot spraying, that could even be significantly less, but I'm keeping it, because I don't want to have it all of a sudden we have an outbreak and I need solid spray areas too, so. Otherwise, everything else there is relatively pretty close. As far as into the capital outlay, one of the things there is 2 years ago I was told that my Raven injecting system they've upgraded it, newer, and it, no longer making mechanical parts for some of the injecting pumps. So, and with that, they advise if you want to down the road to need to upgrade. This past year, they said we do not have big parts anymore. So I am looking at probably upgrading to start to do some upgrades. It will require all new, of course, wiring harnesses and everything because it's all upgraded more for the technology of tablets and things like that, and a monitor and stuff. So, and with that, with an overall, I am actually going to be down about 7% on the budget compared to last year.
$14,335, which is 7%.
So, which is a pretty good drop from what I had been the previous years and so on. And of course, my expenditures have been a lot less in the last few years too. So,
All right.
Great.
Any other questions for Steve? Any questions? All right, Steve, thank you.
Thanks
thank
for
you.
your patience.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving forward, let's go on then to discussion and possible action to contract for human resource services and labor contract negotiations. It's number 10 on your agenda. Terry?
Yes, sir.
I had a discussion with Terry earlier, and he has indicated that he would stay on with us, kind of like the rancher that lost all his livestock, and he went to the banker and he said, well, the bad news and the good news. Said the bad news is I lost my herd, but the good news, I'm going to stick with you another year. And that's kind of what Terry says, we'll stick with you. And he would just be responsible for the HR portion of this and not the labor negotiations if, in fact, we go that way. I did pin him down a little bit this morning and said, have you got a number? In other words, what would you be expecting for a number, or what would you feel would be a fair compensation? And he shot the number back at me at $1,200 a month. He currently is getting $1,500 a month, so we would continue to receive basically the same service without the labor negotiations for $300 a month less, or $3,600. That being said, I will open it up to the other board members. What are your wishes, or what are your thoughts?
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, just, so with this, I'm guessing we need to redo a contract with Terry to do it this way and then approve that? Would that be the appropriate way to proceed?
That would be the appropriate way to do that, to rewrite a contract, and my understanding is it basically be the same, just a different number, and the responsibility would be a little bit different.
Yeah, I've never had a contract for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, you should be honored then that we'd have one for you. You can tell somebody you're working under contract now, right? Cindy, would that be the appropriate thing to do?
Let's take that.
Well, it's entirely up to the board to go whichever route they want to. I mean,
Mr. Chairman,
it's not inappropriate.
why do we need a contract all of a sudden when haven't had one for the last 10 years and Terry's been doing an acceptable job?
Well, basically just be because of the change. That'd be the only reason.
The only thing we're changing is his salary.
Well, and his responsibilities
He's
are
not
changing.
going to do the other
And
part.
his
The
responsibilities.
labor contract, you're not doing labor contract, just HR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your wishes?
Mr. Chairman, I would suggest we put this on the agenda maybe next week or a couple weeks from now.
And we can do that. We couldn't do anything today anyway, because it's, well, I don't know, does it say discussion, possible
It
action?
says possible
We do,
action.
yeah, we could have possible action. You want to postpone it for a week?
That's fine with me. I will not be, I will unlikely be present next week, but,
You know, I would make a motion just to move forward with approving that, or whatever.
All right,
need
we
to
have a
do.
motion on the floor by Van Dusen to go ahead and offer the agreement with Terry for $1,200 a month to proceed with the same that he has been doing
I'll second that.
on the HR side of it, and we have a second by Hanton. Discussion. Any discussion? Do we need a contract, yes or no?
I don't feel we do.
I don't
Okay?
think we need a contract.
We have
with
two
you unless you
commissioners
want
here
a
that say we
contract.
don't need a contract, and Terry says he doesn't need a contract, so,
well, Mr. Chairman?
go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, I'm obviously, I think we're all comfortable with Terry. Is it something we just want to check with, maybe the state's attorney on that, just to make sure we're doing things correctly, or if we're all comfortable, then I guess it's okay. Just putting that thought out there.
We can be comfortable with it and still check with the attorney, state's attorney.
Yeah, yeah.
We could tell her what we did.
We went through several audits, examinations, and we haven't had a problem, so why rock the boat?
Good point.
Yeah, why rock the boat is exactly right. All right, any more discussion? Good discussion. Let's get her out. If there's any concerns or anything you'd like to,
I would just like to thank Terry. I know that he has plans here later in life as far as moving on and stuff, but keeping you around, I think, is you're a vital resource to our HR here in the county, and I'm glad that you're willing to stick around
Well,
and
thank
help
you.
out with that.
I really enjoy working with the employees and the commission, and I'm glad
I did all that.
we can work it out. I'm glad we could work it out.
Yeah,
I like
that's
it, I
great.
like doing it.
excuse me, Commissioner Hatton, what did you say? I missed that.
I just said I ditto what Troy said. Terry has been a great asset to the county.
Sure.
I'm glad that he's decided to stay on.
Okay, good. It was a voice of support there is what that was. That being said, I'm going to call for the motion to proceed with this. All in favor indicate, no, all in favor, we'll do a roll call vote again.
Gable,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Van Duzen,
Aye.
and Hanton.
Aye.
All right, opposed, same sign. Seeing none or hearing none, motion carries. Congratulations, Terry,
Thank you.
Thank you.
you're back on staff. Now let's take the second part of that, the labor contract negotiations. We do have a proposal that we have had a chance to review and look at from Mr. Foley. Is there any action we will take with that?
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Gable, go ahead. Commissioner Gable.
I talked to Mr. Foley. He said that he typically does a contract for this kind of thing. He's doing this, I think it's for the utilities, the town utilities. I have not seen a draft of that. Perhaps Cindy, did you get a draft contract?
No, I have not received anything.
Okay. Well, I can speak to Mr. Foley again, and just to ask him to furnish that. And it would be on an as-needed basis. So since I think we could expect to make use of Mr. Foley if we did accept his proposal, from time to time, especially since Terry is not going to be doing this part of the what he was doing before.
So is that a motion, Commissioner Gable?
We already have a motion. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Not on this one.
I guess that's the question. Do you want to wait and make the motion until we get a contract from Mr. Foley, or should we just go ahead and accept the proposal? I think we could do either way, and then
I think we should
proceed.
Our county auditor says that she thinks that we should wait, and so if you would want to contact Mr. Foley, since you have talked to him prior,
sure,
and tell him to get a contract to us for his services as needed, we'll put it on the agenda for his next week. Too soon? I'd like to get
I think
it.
that's
2 weeks?
yeah. I think
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Yeah,
3 weeks.
It'd be
3 weeks.
It'd be 1 week or 3 weeks.
Either
Okay.
the 24th or the 5th. Or the 7th, I'm sorry.
24th or the 7th.
okay.
Okay, what?
Okay, I will contact Mr. Foley to take that note.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to table this until 3 weeks from the present time.
We'll postpone it until 2 weeks from now. Okay?
Okay, all right.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, could I just make a comment?
Please do.
Your HR?
Please do.
Just food for thought on this labor negotiation cost for that. Because there's a $3,600 difference between what I was getting paid and what I will get paid. I would ask you to give the thought, maybe make a counter offer of a flat amount. Rather than an open-ended $200 an hour, or whatever it is. I mean, you got $3,600, which in most cases should cover what the involvement would be in the, but I just throw that out for thought.
Sure. Did you, Commissioner Gable and Hatton, did you hear that?
I did.
Thoughts? Any thoughts from anyone?
I think it might be good just to estimate the numbers. I can do something, work that up.
Okay, we'll see what his proposal is, his suggestion for a contract. Okay, and we'll look at it in 2 weeks. Okay.
Mr. Chair, I don't know if you realize the 31st we do not meet, so it would put it off for 3 weeks. Were you aware of that? The 31st, we won't have a meeting since it's the 5th Tuesday of the month.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, that was my motion, 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
So
yes.
that would be August 7th.
August 7th.
August 7th.
And hopefully we can have something back from Mr. Foley by that time for us to look at. All right? Everybody in agreement with that? All right.
Yes.
Thank you for the suggestion, Terry.
Thanks, Terry.
Appreciate that. And thank you for your services, and we appreciate what you have done and what you continue to do, and we look forward to working with you more.
Thank you.
Very good. All right, let's go on then to number 11, that's just in there, budget review.
Which we
Cindy,
did.
we've done that?
We've done the ones that were ready for today, correct?
All right, let's, action to approve courthouse remodel project change orders.
I have nothing.
We have nothing on that. Lee, is that correct?
No, that is correct.
All right, Commissioner Waterman is smiling over there. he appreciaes that. Let's go on to number 13, which is action to approve claims for payment. Do we have any claims today?
I actually have nothing for 13, 14, or 15.
Man, we're moving right along here. How about personnel changes? We got a couple of them.
Correct. One personnel change came from the sheriff, recommending the appointment of Matt Blackwelder to the position of Chief Correctional Officer beginning August 1st, 2018, at a rate of $25.50 per hour.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion by
Second.
Van Duzen, a second by Gable. Any discussion?
Mr. Blackwelder is currently the chief the correctional officer, sergeant correctional officer, I believe.
And this actually would be the replacing Tom.
Correct.
And we're glad that we'll be able to promote from within, and although I'm sure that that'll create an opening for another jailer as well.
Sergeant position.
Down the road. Oh, any more discussion? Any more discussion?
I suppose we'll need a roll call vote. We'll need the roll
Yeah.
call vote again, yeah.
Yeah, and so we'll call for the roll.
Gable,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Van Duzen.
Aye.
Anton.
Aye.
Congratulations, Matt. He will be asked to do many things in addition to that. He'll probably be suggested that he sit on the CCJ meeting and the...
JDAI, CC Jack as well.
Yeah.
August 1st.
All right, and then the next thing that we have is some travel requests. We have a couple of them.
First one is the welfare director request authorization to attend the South Dakota Association of County Officials, County Commissioners convention in Pierre in September.
Is she going to fly out? It says nothing of transportation is fly.
Airplane.
Yes, yes. That is her request, which will result in just one night of hotel.
So it's actually going to be cheaper to fly her out there than it would be for her to drive and stay 2 nights
Yep.
in a hotel. So.
And then the second one is emergency management director authorization to attend a DENR sponsored chemical and oil industry safety and compliance workshop in Aberdeen.
All right, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Gable, second by
Second.
Waterman. Commissioner Waterman, any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, let's have a roll call vote.
Gable,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Van Duzen.
Aye.
Hanton.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Seeing no, or hearing no indications of motion carries, let's go on to number 18, which is old business. Is there any mature business to bring before the board today? We're getting some feedback from somewhere.
That's okay. It's in the background of Brenda's phone.
Okay.
It's okay.
Any old business? Any old business? Seeing none, let's go on to new business. Is there any new business?
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Gable?
Yeah, just a couple things. So JDAI meeting is today, so I might attend it by phone, but I think Troy's going to be there, and I believe Matt Blackwelder from the jail will be there. That's at the school at noon today. And we're Matt, just to let you know, Matt has been very helpful in helping us put together some of the juvenile detention data, and we look forward to showing that to everybody because it's pretty interesting.
Okay. Any other new business? Any other new business? The only thing I have that may be old or new business is that today at 4 o'clock, it's save the date, Cottington County Drug Court is a commencement celebration honoring the graduates. I don't know, I rode the elevator up this morning with some of the people, but was there 2 of them? I don't know for sure how many will be graduating, but that's at 4 o'clock today, and you're all welcome to attend that, or encouraged to attend it. If you've never been to one, I would really encourage you to go to one. It kind of makes you sit back and realize that some of these programs are successful and are working well. Anything for the open?
Just one more thing.
I have
Mr.
several.
Go ahead, Brenda. Commissioner
I
Hatton?
have several events that there could be a quorum of commissioners at. You mentioning the drug court at 4. First District picnic tomorrow, Wednesday at 5:30. There is a retirement party for Tom on Thursday from 2:30 to 3:30. Also, Cooking on Compesca is going on starting Thursday, continuing through Saturday, that there could be a quorum of commissioners at any one of those events. And that's all that I have until next Tuesday, unless someone else has something.
Does anyone else have anything? That first,
Just a note for your calendars, Mr. Chairman. The next CCJAC meeting is the 14th of August.
all right. I was looking at the 14th of July, and I was going to say that's a Saturday, 14th. Okay, anything else? What time is the First District picnic?
6 p.m.
I have 5:30.
Oh, I've got
Start the
6.
service at 6.
Okay, if you want to eat, come at 6. If you
Well, I
want,
guess I just thought go early.
if you want to socialize, come at 5:30.
It's good to be early, Brenda.
Let's see, was there any other questions? Anything else for the open? Anything else for the open? I have had no requests for executive
I'll make
session.
a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion by Hatton to adjourn, second by
Second?
Gable. We'll call for the voice vote on that.
Gable,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Van Duzen.
Aye.
Hanton.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Seeing none or hearing none. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, Lee and Brenda, for
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for indulging us.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Thanks for letting us see you tomorrow, or this afternoon at 4.
All right.
Yeah, I will very unlikely be able to participate next week.
Do you need a number account for the Nickies and Madison?
Oh, I'm sorry.
And not till the